Cause we on the radio. Oh, 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 oh. We on the radio. Oh, 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 oh. We on the radio. Yeah, oh. Yeah, oh. Yeah, we on the radio. Oh, 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 yeah. Oh, 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 oh. We on the radio. Yeah, we on the radio. In case you're wondering why I'm drinking, my marriage is over. In case you're wondering why it's so early in the morning, my marriage is over. Rocket, what'd you say, bro? I think you said your marriage is over. Yeah, yeah. Bang and bang, bang. Bong, bong, bong. Smoke, smoke, smoke. Dry, dry, dry. All fours. Levitations on fourth floor. Baby, you can rock the microphone. Knocking down thick walls. 2x4. Swinging hard. Oh man, I could do this all day. I don't need anyone in my life. Yeah. Homie doesn't need anyone in his life. Homie doesn't need anyone in his life. Everyone says you'll come to regret those words. You believe so? 'Cause I don't. I voluntarily walked out. You could be mad at me, but I don't care. I got one life to live and it's here. I thought it would work out, but it didn't 'cause my marriage fell apart. Or did I walk out? Maybe I wasn't listening. Too much change happening. But anyway, here I sit, falling in love again. It's always been first to my heart. Can you hear it pound? Boom, boom, boom. Out of your chest. Boom, 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 boom. Out of this chest. Out of chest. Out of chest. Boom, 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 boom. When you first met, now it's dead. Boom, 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 boom. It's dead. Blame yourself. In the night, you'll get through it. Just put your head close to the speaker. Yeah, will you get through it? Will homie get through it? I like it just like that. Oh, man. Are you with me? Shout if you're with me. Go on with me, yeah, one more time. Yeah. Lean back, hit this joint. Smoke it, toke it right. Nice butt, come sit down tonight. Before you know it, we're kissing up and down, holding head, licking neck. Oh, kissing face, get it bake. Kissing face, patty cake. Kissing face, patty cake. Near the bathroom. Stall number 2, going in hard. She fell to her knees, she started hanging on this. Hanging on this. Oh mate, we should get back out there. She wipes her lips, we get dancing. 5 minutes later, here's another. Going stall number 2. Damn man, my dick be raw from this attention. I'm lonely. Let's take a 5-minute break, ladies and gentlemen. Yo, it is a great morning. Yo. What's up, ladies and gentlemen? I got some advice. That I really want to give out. Shout outs to all my homies, man. I'm trying to stay quiet tonight. I'm just enjoying it's in the air. What I want to say on record is I gotta catch it, man. It goes in and out, you know. Kind of drunk, but kind of not. Almost I'm to that limit. All right. So what were we talking about? And the reason I forget is because my pain levels. I don't want to remember the biggest pain in my life. Damn, I lost the whole entire thought, man. We're on some other thought. Shit. On a scale to how drunk am I? I'd probably say 6. And it's rising. Oh, I wanted to say about love, man. I noticed this through the multitude of deep relationships I've had. And you know what we call the friend zone? And then you call the married zone. I think to have a fun, healthy marriage, if you can get over some insecurities, oh, it's going away, come back. I should record this. This is like gold information. Alright, so we gotta start over. Maybe we can do a better job this time. Killing our thought. Stop the programming. Alright, so what I'm trying to get is that marriage, the marriage zone, like it messes with me. I think I could be a better husband if we were in the friend zone. First off, I don't know how to be a husband, but I do know how to be a great friend. You know, it's just, I got taught a lot of good things, I just didn't get taught them all. And it's probably my excuse. But I tried. And however, it's nice when you find someone that is equally confused. Because you're like, we were never set up for this. I'm just good at being friends. It takes a pressure off your shoulders. Because I don't know how to be a husband, but I know how to be a great friend. A husband, man, that just goes right past my head, and I start messing up. I start calling out, yo, my wife. And I think when I start doing that, I need to stop myself. And only bad shit can come from that, you know? No one wants to be chased through whatever scene. You know, I'm just being real here. You know, I'm being unbiased of the situation. But what were we talking about, man? Love, marriage, the marriage zone versus friend zone. Like, I can be a great friend, but honestly, I think when we start categorizing ourselves in the marriage zone, and we don't even really know what that is, you know, it plays on me. It, for me, at least, that's my personal opinion. There could be other people out there who be having the same thing, so we have to remind each other that we're in the friend zone. And honestly, we do so much better because the jealousy isn't as high. You know, it's not like I'm married to my dick and I'm watching my dick go out to the bars. I'm not watching my dick on its own go to, you know, I am attached to my dick just like I'm attached, quote, quote, to my wife. But the friend zone, you feel less trapped. And we were both feeling the same thing. You know, we were both feeling trapped. And it's a mental mindset to where you're like, baby, let's just live in the friend zone. Because it relieves so much shit off of your shoulders. And I believe you could probably have a better marriage. If this one isn't working for you, try the friend zone method. And it just clears your head. You're like, oh, okay, this shit makes sense now. Versus, yo, you my wife and you my husband. You ain't acting like a good husband. I've seen how they are. It's like you ain't got none of that talk. You know, just as long as you got rules as far as what friends can do, I think could do a lot of marriages an advantage, because we are genuinely ready for marriage, but none of us taught what marriage is. And I think if you could start marriage, even if you do marry, it's okay. It's less stressful if you look at each other as if you're in a friend zone. Not to be disrespectful, but all of that responsibility, like, yo, my dick's going out there. If you're my friend, you're not my dick, you know? You're my friend, so I can focus more on what makes me happy, what I want to do, without someone breathing down my neck type shit. And honestly, like, if I could give some more advice that I've learned over the years, for some people, living in the same room is hard when you have different points of views. So I suggest, like, you're probably an independent person, so you require space. It's not a bad thing, and I really genuinely believe that you can have a healthy marriage if you lived in separate bedrooms. Some of us, all we know is our own space, you know? Some of us need that space. And that can actually make you miss the other person a bit more. So what I've learned through my marriage here, and you know, to get over the whole marriage mindset, like, we both wanted it, right? But it's that label that screws us up the most, because really we want to be best friends. And I want to come down here and make, I guess, pussy songs. I don't want to, but if it happens, it happens, and I don't want to be ridiculed about it. And she can do her business. I'm in my zone, she's in her zone. It's sort of like we come together. Damn, my back hurts. Right now I feel weak muscles in the, right up here, but I'm not used to sitting like this. So let me go on to a different subject now. Take a break. So today I was at FedEx, mailing off our DirecTV boxes. Whew. Can't do it, man. That shit hurts too bad. Like, when this shit come more, it's like, wow, you know, it. partying it up. You know, this thing up here actually works quite well. I'm surprised at how awesome it works for sound. Microphone, you need a preamp. You know, I use this thing up here. Gonna tell you some secrets. I use this thing up here, and if you plug in your microphone, because this thing's a great preamp. You know, I want to be straight up honest with you. The Yamaha, there's some that's not cum, that's actually glue, hot glue. Before I was a tape fanatic, that I turned into a hot glue fanatic. But it's a Yamaha MG82, I think CX. Well, anyway, in my olden days, how I produced a lot of the great tracks was through this mixer right here. This used to be the only mixer I had. But my favorite thing about it was the effects panel, and there was one setting on it, ambience. I always used to say it adds height. I'm not sure it works, but you see up here, I have it going out, back up to this box, which is basically, it neutralizes the signal. It's a Pile PDC-22. So basically, it takes a line in signal and it converts it to a XLR. XLR has a ground, so you're not going to get interference. That's why you see me use these boxes. I got big boxes and little boxes. They're both a lifesaver. And at first I hated using rack equipment because it produced a noise. And what I found out is, first off, you should have all of your equipment that you're actively using plugged into one device. And I mean, as far as the root, you know, it doesn't have to be everything, but it has to be like the microphone root plugged into one. And you got to make sure, just to stay safe, that you're not pulling more than 5 amps from any given circuit. I don't care if you're at a commercial place. I don't care if you're at your own home, but you should be monitoring how much power you pull. And my recommendations is you should never go over 5, because depending on whatever else is in that, like 10 amps, what some servers run off of, is the maximum for is the maximum for residential copper wire. Now when you reach that 10 amps, the copper wire gets hot and the plastic around it starts to melt. And this is the path of where fires exist. So my server rack is plugged in with the dryer. That could be a lethal combination. But luckily, I pull less than usually 2.5 amps, and a dryer could pull, sometimes up to 10, 15 amps, but the main breaker has a 20 amp breaker. If you replace that breaker, with a 50 amp breaker, obviously you're gonna cause problems because copper wire gets hot. And the more even extension cords get hot. So that's why I say never pull more than 5 amps. You can find these power conditioners, is what you should be using in the first place. Online, even on eBay, where they filter your power from the disturbances, and you use these boxes to even, get your signal straight. So that's what I've learned, is you got to use a combination of filtered power. Filtered power means that it's filtered from the next plug, so it's not going to cause interference. And then you're running the audio stuff like through all one channel, and you got the video, because the video can transfer interference through metal. So as long as you got metal attaching to metal as a conduit, then you're just gonna transfer the interference to the next box. You're going to transfer the interference to the next box. And so that's why you got to try to isolate it the best you can. You see my up here wire setting, it's not touching, it's not touching the main rack, because depending on how these are built, one time I had my carpets cleaned, so the carpets were all wet, and I had that patio set that was about 9.8 inches big, so it could fit within a standard 10-foot height room. It was great because I could put 10 conduits across the top just to sturdy it, because we're gonna hang lights from it instead of attaching shit to walls and wondering how you're gonna do shit. Well, I begged my parents in the early days to buy me this patio outdoor set. It was about 9 feet high and 8 inches tall, so I left you 4 inches on top. And you saw probably one of my man caves like that, and we still have it, but it's on our back deck. It's outside now. But as long as you sturdied up the top, like you could hang TVs from that shit. You could do lots of crazy shit. And like you ain't supposed to damage the walls. Get a outdoor patio set, man. And about 10 conduits. And just zip tie those to the top to like stabilize it more. Yo, that shit's awesome. I'm feeling pretty drunk now, on the scale about 7.5. I'm still feeling good, but damn, yo, we I'm just spitting bars, spitting fucking knowledge. I guess you have to do what is best for each other. And you gotta live in the friend zone if the marriage zone isn't working, because the marriage zone fucks with your head, bro. It screws with your head so much that you start saying, "Hey, my wife," type shit out in public. "Hey, have you seen my wife?" When it gets to that moment, I've noticed even in my past marriage, because I was married once before, She was a published author, and as much as my wife is jealous of her, like my current wife is so much better than my first wife. I'm not trying to do this to suck up because my second wife doesn't believe she has a bunch of mental issues. My first wife believed that she was beyond fixable, like she killed herself in 2013. That fucked me up a bit. But honestly, I don't think about her, you know? Like it was a time in my life to where I was interested in this marriage, but I think back in that time and I was again in this fucked up zone. I think if we could have stayed in the friend zone even though we were married, we probably could have had a much better time with each other. Instead of we were like, you ain't supposed to do this, wife. From what I learned, I see people on TV who are married and they don't do this shit. You know, like if you can erase that from your daily life, and it's not a bad thing, it's actually a good thing, because that's less things you got to pay attention to. If you just believe in that, I think, you know, nonsense going every day, not every day, but it might help. Maybe once or twice a month. I ain't no marriage counselor or anything, so. For anyone. But from my opinion, some people need to live in the friend zone to make their marriage last. We know how to be friends. Not all of us knows how to be a good husband slash wife. Not all of us. You know, we missed a few steps. We gained a few steps. It's not that we're stupid. We just didn't have time to learn it all, you know? And if we did, we would have paid attention because obviously it's what we want. But if we try to attach that label onto us, I think, you know, if we were attached that label onto us, like husband slash wife versus friend, you know, I'm not familiar really. Like, I've seen it, but I'm not very good at, like, telling people what to do. I'm very good at talking to walls, so people are scared of me. So nowadays, I try to say I sound scary, and even I may look scary, but I'm not a scary guy. Like, that should be my new slogan, because I always hear from other people that they're like, yo, they're afraid of you. And I want to be like, yo, that's the acting in me. That's the part when we clock in. But I'm usually not clocked in, you know? So you may see the side of me only, but how are you supposed to know the unclocked inside? Especially a frontal view like this, longer than a few seconds. How are you supposed to really know me? So it's you know, it's less pressure if you're in the friend zone. For me, I got too many things on my mind to be grading how awesome of a husband, because I know I'm failing if you put me in the husband category, but I know I probably succeed if you put me in the friend category. It's just I ain't been taught. You know, I've been too busy doing other shit, living life. You know, I've been too busy being beat down my life. I've been too busy trying to recover from whatever bullshit I'm currently in. I'm just, you know, I ain't had time really to have that luxury of, oh, what does it take to be an awesome person? Man, I'm just trying to get by to the next day. I'm gonna be single the rest of my life. And it really hurts me when, I mean, it shouldn't bother me, but sometimes it does when I hear people speak their opinions of about me. You know, sometimes it's he's faking his pain. That one probably, I mean, it doesn't get to me, but it's like, yo, I thought we were over this shit. You know, it's like, we got the MRI. It shows that I got 4 bulging discs and of a straightened bone because I've been sitting on my ass, not doing shit. I got some weak muscles, but that's not the problem. I mean, it will be a problem eventually, but I gave up hope, man, when it's bone to bone. It's a crushing feeling. People believe that this last surgery helped. Yeah, it did. But it just took me back to the beginning, you know, before I had this pain. It's just less severe. We're just back at the beginning, you know, saying, doctor, I got this pain in my back and it won't leave. It's not a level 10, but we're back at a level 6/7. It still rules my day all the time, and if I'm not sitting here, it's not for the pain drugs that I take. Like, we couldn't have done the studio rehaul, and then people say, well, if how could you do the studio rehaul if if you're ain't Superman? I mean, there's nothing wrong with me, right? But it's the reminder of pain. None of us like to feel pain. And that's why I take pain drugs. That's why I double dosed the day that we put this all together slowly. You notice how I took breaks, long breaks before we did shit? It's not a normal installer. I mean, it's plain day, man. It's like you see that I'm struggling. You see that I'm just trying to make it to the next move. And you see how it rules my life. You see, maybe when I'm not wearing sunglasses, how it dominates me to a point of I care. I still care, but man, this shit hurts. This shit does hurt. You know, I haven't had a pain-free day unless I double dose on this hydromorphone. Unless I take 8 milligrams. 8 milligrams is what will get me to a point that will please my wife. The legal system will only allow me 4 milligrams 3 times a day with a Nucentia 50 milligrams 12-hour pill. And that may sound like a lot. It's right under the legal limit, but it's not enough, man. And I mean, I've been on these drugs for a long time, and after the surgery, I was on a higher dose. I was on a double dose of what I'm now every day for the first week. And for the first week, I'm like, yes,